Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happiness Today YouTube channel. For a while now, the former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, have been under severe attack over the uh, January 1st letter he penned. But then again, he's not done. A lot of reactions followed that letter. He strikes again. And a lot of Nigerians, a lot of political pundits are beginning to ask questions. Why should a man of that repute give his own verdict? And he didn't stop there. Even the presidency didn't spare him. He spoke all sorts. And they decided to call out even the sins of Obasanjo. But then he paints another. And these are what the pundits are saying, judging the fact that come February 2023, Nigerians will be going to the polls. It is either a make or match situation. It's either Nigeria wins or breaks. And this is why some of these things Chief Olusegun Obasanjo states comes to bear. But then again, others are looking at his sayings, quote unquote, in the picture. In a moment, we're going to go through all this and what Nigerians are saying and what political pundits are saying. But before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the right subscribe button beside it. You'll see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, not a few feathers in the country's political space were ruffled by the latest letter penned by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, which became public. The letter, which was titled My Appeal to All Nigerians, particularly young Nigerians, has seemingly attracted more reactions and attacks in the media, which question its legitimacy to write it, than even its content and the trust. The raging attacks on the author ostensibly derived from his endorsement of Peter Obi, one of the leading contenders for the office of the president, who is running on the platform of Labour Party (LP) in the forthcoming general polls slated for February this year. Not only did Obasanjo endorse Obi, he went further to deconstruct and demarket the other leading candidates such as Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress (APC) and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) by scoring them lower on his adopted criteria than would be his preferred candidate. This seemingly is where he stirred the hornet's nest. Among what he wrote in the letter is that, while I quote him, none of the contestants is a saint when one compares their character, antecedent, their understanding, knowledge, discipline, and vitality that they, that they can bring to the bear and the great efforts required to stay focused on the job, particularly looking at where the country is today. And with the experience on the job that I personally had, Peter Obi as a mentee has an edge. Not done with the ranking of the candidate, Obasanjo did not spare the current administration of the President Muhammadu Buhari, which he described as having taken the country backwards. Among reactions to the letter are, in first place, the rebuttal from the presidency, which described Obasanjo as a frustrated man. Others comprise a series of angry personal rebuttals from both Tinubu and Atiku, along with their spokesperson, and a battalion of critics who cite Obasanjo's quote-unquote sins while he was in and out of office at two periods. Firstly, as the military ruler of the country as at 1976 and to 1979, and later as an elected civilian president between 1999 to 2007. On the flip side are also numerous voices commending him for the courage to write the letter, which they claim is timely intervention given the prevailing state of affairs in the country. Meanwhile, taking on face value of its content and stripping it of whatever reference to Obi and his competitors, the letter basically constitutes the stuff from a caring elder statesman to a hurting nation. Seen in context, there's hardly anything that the letter represents other than a homily which is aimed at stirring up the countrymen and women, especially the youth, to the crucial nature of the forthcoming polls being a make or mar dispensation for the country. For emphasis, it also needs to be observed that there is hardly anything written in the letter by the author which has not been placed in the public domain by other observers of the state of affairs in the country, including several of the present introducers of Obasanjo, even with more scathing language. While it is not the intention of this to hold brief for Obasanjo, who had on several instances forced such causes to disagree with, there had been circumstances in the public domain which any keen observer of the country like Obasanjo can easily rely upon to exercise his personal liberty to make his own controversial value judgment. By the same token, his traducers who are handpicking him presently are also depending on the same premise of personal liberty and freedom of speech to launch the series of invectives on him. This is where, in less auspicious times and with diminished tax stakes at risk, Nigerians will say that grammar jam grammar and leave the matter as one draw, with the resignation that Obasanjo has met his match with the avalanche of rebuttals to his letter. However, these are not ordinary times, but the build up to a landmark electoral exercise with the likelihood of featuring novel development and tendencies which may unlike what had been taking place in past electoral exercises. In these circumstances, a key factor concerned to the political parties and their candidates is the deployment by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) of electronic voting protocols that will brook no fear of favorism. Just as well, the INEC has severally assured the country the forthcoming election shall provide room for voters to vote according to their individual convictions, and that is where Obasanjo's letters matter, especially when it comes to how much credibility he commands across the country and whether his traducers can easily discountenance his clout in the nation. This is what the regular Nigerians will call the pepper of the entire matter. The truth of the matter is that Obasanjo cannot be discountenanced by his traducers, even if his crusade is seen as self-justified, given his antecedents as his inclinations to assert himself cannot be taken away. This is a man who has featured on the national scene in various capacities over a period spanning the entire history of independent Nigeria. As a soldier, he featured actively in Nigerian foreign military assignments. Beyond that, he was engaged in one role or the other in the series of military interventions in governance of the country and rose to be head of state. He was later elected as president of the country under a democratic dispensation. In his personal capacity, he has an author of 27 books in various literature beyond his numerous letters in which he expresses views bluntly to different recipients, be such friends or foes. A voracious reader and a compulsive seeker of knowledge, he obtained a doctorate degree from the National Open University of Nigeria now in 2018 after he left office as president. It is therefore not surprising that his penchant for shaking tables metaphorically through books and letters writing is grounded on foundation of patriotism, intellectual sensitivity to the Nigerian cause, as well as long-acting association with the soul of the Nigerian nation. His comments are therefore in most cases not frivolous, but credible, even if not always popular. With respect to the current salvo from him, he may not succeed in conjuring Peter Obi into the presidential seat. However, given the traditional didactic slate of his intervention, it is time Nigerians, especially the present complement of contenders for political offices, to take Obasanjo's grossness more seriously. Wow, this is as interesting as it comes. It's now left for us Nigerians to make a choice. Much as he has said what he said, is his opinion, but then again, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo is an influential man. They had talked against him, talked down on him. The same people who talked down on him actually went personally for his endorsement, of which he told them in plain terms that just go your thing, do your thing. And what he said, guys, let's be real. I don't think he actually should. He's not. He said nobody's a saint. Even Chief Olusegun Obasanjo himself is not a saint. Let's meet in that comment section. It's just a few days to go. Who would you vote for? Whenever you're voting, please remember the soul of Nigeria depends on you and I of voting age that have our PVC ready to vote. Let's meet in that comment section.